What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here in the morning movie chat as I do this pretty much every day during the week, where I come together and, we all come together and, listen to me flap my gums about movies, comic books, just a whole bunch of different things. But typically here on the morning movie chat, we do keep it just to movies. Again, thank you all so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate any time you guys show up to hear me flap my gums. Now, before I get into everything, please, make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell, and, all of that good stuff that somebody at YouTube is probably going to send me an email about or yell at me about if I don't tell you guys. And, to be honest, like, we all kind of need a reminder from time to time. I can honestly tell you there's so many times where I'm out there on, watching a video or a live stream, and hey, man, I forget to hit like too, right? Sometimes I forget to hit dislike. Sometimes I don't hit either one. Sometimes I don't even comment. And we all need that reminder. So yeah, if you could, please make sure that you do that. And you know what? Another thing you could always do is make sure that you share this video with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. We always have a good time talking about, just movies, comic books, and all kinds of different things, nerdy things here on this channel. Occasionally here on Fridays, it is Friday today. I normally do the Trailer Park Live Fridays, every single Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's something I've done for pretty much since the very beginning of the year. So, I understand, for over on the East Coast when I'm doing that show, it's about 11 o'clock at night. So I understand there's probably plenty of people who follow me on the East Coast that, if they're a morning person like I am, they're probably already asleep by the time I even start that show. But again, thank you all so much for being here, man. And what a week it has been. It has been one. I got to tell you guys, it's been a great week for me. Okay. If you guys haven't been paying attention, basically my week here started. Let's just go back to. Let's just go back to last Saturday. All right, let's just go back to last Saturday. Last Saturday, me and my wife, my family, my kids, we all loaded up and drove down to L.A., which is I don't know, maybe a little about an hour away from where I live here in Lancaster. Let's see if is that lighting a little bit better. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit dark. I don't know. Why don't you guys let me know about that? What you guys think? I don't know. Whatever. You're here to see me anyway, right? So we drove down to LA and we went to LA Comic Con 2019. It was a very good time. It was my first Comic Con ever. And I got to tell you guys, I had an absolute blast. I got a video that I'm going to be doing, putting stuff together. And I just haven't done it this week because it's been a really busy week, as you guys have seen here on the show. In case you guys haven't been here, it's been a really busy week. So yeah, I started off. Went down to LA Comic Con on Saturday. Had an absolute blast there at the Comic Con. Got to meet Preston Poulter from Pocket Jacks Comics and bought a couple of books from him. Went to Source Point Press and bought a couple of books there. Some Dead End Kids issues 1 through 3. I think I had issue 2 already. So I went ahead and got those. I picked up went to Aftershock Comics. I went to their booth and picked up a nice little box set or mystery box of some stuff. I've got a video already shot. I just haven't had time to edit it or anything for that. Then on Sunday, got a little bit of a break as I tried to recover from LA Comic Con. It took us a couple hours to get into the Comic Con, which is crazy. It's funny because on their website they said, "Oh, things were a little bit of a mess this morning. It took about 45 minutes to get people in the door." And I'm like, no, bro, we were standing outside for like over 2 hours waiting to get inside. But overall, once we got inside, it was a very good experience. Had a very good time meeting a lot of cool people, just kind of hanging out and everything. Seen Rob Liefeld there, seen Jim Starlin, and some just other bigger people out there in the comic world that I'm probably not as familiar with. Scotty Young was there. So yeah, it was a very good time for my first Comic Con. Came home Sunday, kind of rehabilitated a little bit, got a little bit of rest. Then on Monday, went out and watched Three from Hell, Rob Zombie's new flick, and now that movie did its premiere thing, like last month, but they did this one more day here in October. I got a chance to go see it, and I got to tell you guys, Three from Hell, if you liked House of a Thousand Corpses, if you like Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell is one you definitely have to get out to the theater to see. On Tuesday, I was lucky enough, man, I've got, you know what? First of all, I gotta say, shouts out to my wife and her sister, my sister-in-law, basically. They're absolutely awesome people. They're the real heroes here. want you guys to know they're the real heroes. My wife got us the tickets for LA Comic Con. My wife actually asked me if I was going to go watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and I was like, oh, you know what, there's these other things. And, so she asked her sister if her sister would come over and watch the kids while I went to these movies. And you know what? Shouts out to them. Hottie, thank you so much for being here. Her name's Hotsuki. I call her Hottie. Lots of people call her Suki. I don't know. I just think Hottie works better. So yeah, big shouts out to her for coming and taking care of the kids for 3 days this week while I went and watched these movie premieres. It was really great. Like I said, Monday I got to go see Three from Hell. Great movie. If you like the other two Rob Zombie flicks in this same vein, I guess in the same scope of films, which was House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, you need to go out and see Three from Hell. And you know how you can't even go out to see it at this point, but you can go buy it on Blu-ray or DVD at Best Buy or any wherever you buy your movies at. I'm sure you could find it. I don't know about Walmart. I mean, they claim stuff. They edit their music, but they don't edit their movies. I don't know, weird thing, but yeah, you should definitely check that out. So on Tuesday I got a chance to go down. Screamfest LA is going on today, and I believe today is the last day of that. They'll probably be handing out like rewards and different things like that. Maybe it was yesterday. I think the last day was yesterday. I'm sure they have awards and stuff for that that they'll be handing out. So I got to go down to Screamfest LA on Tuesday, and I got to see the Soska sisters' new movie Rabid. Was an absolutely great film. Now I'm not really huge on horror or anything, but for me, I really liked the movie. I've seen some different mixed reviews out there. Some look like they were from haters. Some look like they were actually legitimate, film fans who kind of all. I think I'll put the movie at about the same place I would too. A lot of them putting it at 6, 7, and even 8 out of 10 stars or rankings, however they do it. Now, for me, I would say it's probably closer to an 8 than a 7 even. But anybody ranking that movie Rabid at a 7 or an 8, I would definitely say is a pretty valid thing. Like I said, I'm not huge into horror, so I'm not the best person to make that commentary, but I can tell you from what I've seen in that movie, absolutely great movie. While I was at the movie premiere, bumped into Glenn Danzig, which was really cool. Glenn Danzig, and he's not a very big guy. You know what I mean? Like everybody always says, like, oh, he's a small guy. Like he's small in stature. Like he's kind of short, but like he didn't even look like the same old big buff. One guy that we you probably remember seeing in pictures growing up when he was playing with the Misfits and doing his own thing, Glenn Danzig. But of course, he is getting older, man. I think I don't know. He's probably easily 60s. I'm guessing 50s, upper 50s. I don't know. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong though, but he's getting older. But it was really cool, seeing him there and a couple other people. I'm sure I didn't quite recognize or remember who they were, but it was a really good time. Got to meet the Soska sisters themselves as well as Tristan Risk. I didn't get to see some of the other stars from the film because it was just busy, and I think they were gone by the time I got everything else taken care of. But that was a very good time. And then yesterday. And then on Wednesday I had, I run my own small business. I had to go down and get some freight. Had to drive basically down to LA again, pick up my freight, come home. Busy day working on Wednesday. Got all the work and everything I needed to do done on Wednesday. Went out yesterday and got caught up with a lot of people that I didn't see on Wednesday and on Thursday. And today I got to go catch up with a couple of more. And then last night I got to go see the double feature of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, or I guess it was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. There was a double feature. It was a really great time. Now they did these two show times. They did one on Tuesday, which was just the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot by itself, and today or on Thursday, yesterday was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot together. And it was a good time. It was, gosh, man, it ended up going a little bit longer than I thought because they played the first movie. They did a little introduction. Played the first movie, and then they played Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and then they had some bonus features afterwards where they kind of did some behind the scenes and talking to just people who were helping in the production and things like that. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good time. Watching these two films together. Again, I got to the theater. I'm like, man, it's been a while. It seems like it's been a while since I watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and just seeing it there at the theater kind of reminded me of seeing it in the theater back in the day when it came out. Like, this is a good movie. You know what I mean? Like, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was really one hell of a movie. And to think, that came out, and then I think after that was Clerks 2. And Clerks 2 just seemed to take a lot of that stuff even a step further. Like, Clerks 2 I would say is probably some of Kevin Smith's best filmmaking, and that's because he did so much with that movie. He did so much comedy with it, but yet at the same time, he did touched home with some really, some really good points to bring it home. I mean, kind of made it an emotional journey as well for Clerks, which was really great. And I know they've been kicking around the idea of a Clerks 3 for a while. They were even kicking around the idea of doing another Mallrats, but what we ended up getting here was Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And I gotta tell you guys, this movie was good. Now, is it as good as Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Honestly, I don't think so. Now, the thing is, you got to think about the kind of the journey that Kevin Smith has been on, since not only like since he started his whole career, let alone and when Jay and Silent Bob pretty much became cash cows. I mean, they are like Spider-Man or Batman or Superman for Kevin Smith. You know what I mean? These are the cash cows. He can keep going to that well and keep drawing in money. Now, in this movie, we can see this movie was released, I believe, like distributed and everything by Legion M. Now, if you don't know what Legion M Studios or Productions is, they are like basically a crowd-funded studio. So basically, they have investors, like people like you, people like me, who donated money to the studio to help make their project come to life, and things like that. So it's a really cool thing. I mean, I guess you could think of it as like how some of the comic book creators out there are doing their own things, like through Kickstarter and Indiegogo and just different platforms like that. It's much the same thing that they kind of did with this film, and that Kevin Smith probably put up some of it, put up plenty of his money to do this, as I'm sure he did with many of his movies. But altogether, I gotta say, this movie it was good. It was good, but was it that Kevin Smith quality that we're used to? I think it's not. I think it's not, and that's not to say that this movie is bad, because I thought this movie was really good. It's just kind of, I guess, the evolution that Kevin Smith has been on, his journey as a filmmaker, his journey as a father, his journey. As just doing what he does. It's kind of funny because it seems like over the past, I don't know, handful of years, a lot of people have started to take shots at Kevin Smith. People out there calling him a shill, saying he's no good, just all these different kinds of things. And it's like, you know what, guys, if it wasn't for Kevin Smith, we probably wouldn't be living in this, how would you say, he's one of the bigger people that I guess, like Robert Meyer Burnett calls the post-geek singularity. We wouldn't be living in that if it wasn't for people like Kevin Smith. So while this movie wasn't the greatest film that he's ever done, and there's people out there, detractors of Kevin Smith at this point, people calling him a shill and all kinds of things, all I gotta say to that kind of stuff is F you guys, okay? Kevin Smith is Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is a fan of films. He is a filmmaker who is a fan of films at that. And you can tell, like I said, a lot of people will call him shill and these different kinds of things. And the thing is like I mean, he's got some years on me. I mean, admittedly he does, but he's been a fan of films his whole life, and you can tell that he's been a nerd his whole life, and you can see that in all his movies and everything that he does. But he also grew up in this world, the same world that I grew up in, and he just has an appreciation for films, for comic books, for just all these different mediums, for music and all of these different things. He has that appreciation there, and it's something that I truly appreciate as somebody, because we see so many people these days, reviewers and things out here, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and all this kinds of stuff, who always got something to say, something negative to say, something bad to say about somebody like a Kevin Smith, because the dude just loves movies. He likes what he likes, and he's not going to lie about it. He's not going to fake about it. But again, he grew up in this world kind of like I did too, where we didn't have, like all of these great movies coming out every single year of like geeky, nerdy things that we're into. Now, that's not saying that there's not great films or great comic books or anything released every year. It's just saying he didn't grow up in that same world. Like when we were growing up through the 80s and 90s, we didn't have all these comic book movies premiering at the movie theater every time. We didn't have all these great things just constantly at our fingertips, at our disposal. The internet wasn't around. It was a different world. So when people call Kevin Smith a shill, it's because he likes things. He enjoys things. Just because he don't want to be super critical and tear things down doesn't make him a shill. It makes him a reasonable guy, and you can see somewhat like I am, I guess you could say, here on my channel as well. Like I don't like to just come out outright and just start slamming a film or slamming a comic book or anything like that. I like to be I like to be I guess maybe a little bit somewhat meticulous in my criticism of things, even if they're things I like and even things I don't like. Now, naturally, like any of us, if there's something we like, we're gonna build it up. We're gonna praise it. We're gonna be praising it more than somebody who don't like it would. That's just the simple facts. And Kevin Smith is the same way. And also, you got to remember, guys, your average YouTuber out there, somebody like myself, or a bunch of these other people who are out there just spitting venom at some of these filmmakers, some of these comic books and stuff like that. Um, some of them just they're doing it for hate clicks. Some of them don't have the same appreciation. Some of them are doing it just because they're a-holes. Okay, plain and simple. That's the way. That's just the simple nature of the fact is there's just going to be haters out there, and some of these people are hating just to hate. Okay, admittedly, that just happens. Some of these people, just want to be silly and funny and witty with their commentary about making fun of a movie or making fun of a comic book or making fun of a filmmaker or making fun of somebody like Kevin Smith. And that's just absolutely sad. And to me, I would tell you, and I'm not saying that these people are terrible or anything like that, but I would tell you, don't pay attention to most of these people. Most of these people are out there faking it just to get your clicks and get your views here on YouTube. I wouldn't pay them no mind. And the same as I don't about a lot of people with their hate and things towards Kevin Smith, because, like I said, he kind of helped form my childhood, my young adulthood. He was there through all of that. I was there for him. He was there for me. It was a mutually beneficial relationship, I guess you could say. But the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, it's I wouldn't say it's probably I would say it might be the worst film of his that he's done with these characters and in this world. But that's not saying that it's a bad movie because I thought it was really good. Again, you can see kind of the progression that Kevin Smith has made in his filmmaking. Now, this, like I said, this film I'm sure, probably had one of the lower budgets that he's worked with on a film in probably a long time, and that's why this movie also isn't getting like a big, like major nationwide release. Now, it will be released in theaters here very soon. They're getting ready to go out and do their Jay and Silent Bob road trip, which should be a good time. They're going across America doing this thing at theaters where they're going to sit down and do Q&As, introduce the movie and different kinds of things like that. Just a really good time with a really great filmmaker and some really great actors. And now I'm not sure if it's just going to be Jay and Silent Bob or Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith on this road show, if they're bringing a whole bunch of other troops with them. Like I said, we went to LA Comic Con on Friday or on last Saturday. What's funny is when we were there at LA Comic Con, I got to look this guy's name up because I can't remember his name all of a sudden. When we were there, I was walking through the crowds and I seen one of the guys, and man, I know who this. I just seen him out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, hey, that looks like that one guy who's that one guy, and I can't remember what else he's been in, but I knew that he was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and he was back here again in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. But I know there for a while he was actually married to Shannon and Elizabeth. He might still be married to Shannon and Elizabeth, but he was the guy who was the A&D on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. He was there in the background with working with like Chris Rock. He has like the dreads, little facial hair. Man, I can't remember what this guy's name is. Let me see if I can find him on here. But he's a really hairy guy. I remember seeing him when we were there at LA Comic Con. I'll see if I can just. I'm not gonna take too long here to do this. Maybe I'm taking longer than I should. Oh man. What is this guy's name? Where's he at? Do they even have his picture on here? They should, but you'd recognize him if he's the guy who went and got Jay and Silent Bob when they were supposed to be James Van Der Beek and Jason Biggs. There, man, and I don't see his name on here. Um, Man, he's very recognizable though. He's got a pretty unique look, but his hair is like all gray now. And he was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. He was in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. But like I said, I'm not sure if he's still married to Shannon and Elizabeth or not as well. But they brought a lot of the cast back for this. But I did end up seeing him at LA Comic Con. I knew I should have went and said something to him. But we actually got to meet Brian O'Halloran at Comic Con. Jay and Silent Bob were actually there. Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith were there as well, and then even man, and I can't remember her name as well right now neither. She was the girlfriend in the first Clerks movie, who was Brian O'Halloran, Dante's girlfriend in the movie, she ended up, blasting the fire extinguisher on everybody. Man, I can't remember her name, and I feel bad about that. Marilyn, it was Marilyn something. But most of these people end up reprising their roles in this movie. It was very good. It kind of, it's a reboot, and throughout the movie they do make a lot of jokes about reboots and remakes throughout the movie, and just kind of how Hollywood does them, how a lot of these movies will come out and get the Hollywood treatment. Now here's the reason why I say maybe this isn't Kevin Smith's greatest work, because we know, say 15 years ago or so, maybe 20 years ago, maybe even less, Kevin Smith would have been a little bit more edgy. Would have came out, and I don't mean edgy in a bad way. He would have came out and pulled some more punches, and made those punches land a little bit harder. Because here throughout this movie, they did a lot of the same things that they did in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot for a reason, because they took a lot of that movie and kind of reimagined it. They redid it in a different way with different characters, but some of the same characters, obviously Jay and Silent Bob. Where like in, say, the first Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, we seen Jay and Silent Bob go to Holden McNeil and talk about the internet and about them going to Hollywood and stopping the movie from being made. Well, in this one, they actually go and they talk to Brody at his comic book shop, and he tells them just kind of not about, God, what was he telling about? Like, not like the movie business, but about this Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie being made, and just some of the things there. And that's when they decide to go onto the road and go to Hollywood again. And it was really really funny, because they were talking about reboots and remakes, and they were talking about what's the difference between a reboot and a remake. And there was some really funny commentary throughout this whole part, where like they're talking about, well, God, what was it? I think they were talking about, like, a reboot is when they take and they change, they take a lot of the source material and they change about 25% of it to match X, and to check these boxes. And a remake is where they take and they take the old story and they kind of basically toss it out the window, and they update it with youth and God, what was it? With youth, inclusion, and just all the different buzzwords out there. They check all the boxes. They make some just a hilarious commentary about that kind of stuff. The same kind of stuff that we see a lot of people out there griping about these days. They kind of went out there and poked fun of that. They poked fun of Hollywood in a lot of ways. Throughout this as well. And then we see that as they're going out on their journey to get to Hollywood, they come across some familiar faces. They make some connections that they I guess you could say, try to go back and stoke the old flames that have probably long since burned out. And that was really good too. And we see, obviously, one of them has a father, or one of them, Jay and Silent Bob, is a father at this point and has a kid, and has pretty much not been there for their kid for a whole time, for reasons that go explain in this movie. I don't want to ruin everything for you. But they end up going on this road trip to Hollywood, and like I said, along the way they meet a lot of the familiar faces and everything. They finally get to Hollywood to stop the production, and once they get to Hollywood, we get a lot, again, more callbacks to just all their old films. I mean, from Clerks to Chasing Amy to Mallrats. To Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Again, this is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, so there's a lot of stuff that he rehashed from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and not done in just the same old boring way. But then there was, there's a pretty cool little twist at the end, because just through some of the interesting characters that we meet along the way. And some very cool things happen when they get to Hollywood and get to what they're calling Chronic Con, instead of Comic Con. And there's like a little stage show. Kevin Smith comes out and introduces his movie that he's working on, which is the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Now, at the same time, we can see that, again, this parodies what's been going on in real life, where people are upset with this movie being remade, rebooted, and we see just some funny stuff with, like, James Vanderbeek and Jason Biggs were there on, like, one of those panels there talking about this reboot / remake, and they just hilarious banter throughout. Now, and that's the thing, is this movie, like I said, is probably not Kevin Smith's best work, but that's okay, because he did so much in it that was still funny. Just some great scenes. Like I said, they were calling back on a lot of the things from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. There was this one particular scene This one particular scene when when I was at the theater, I'm sitting there like, okay, obviously a lot of people in this theater haven't seen Glenn Ross, because there's this great scene that Kevin Smith goes and does in this movie where Silent Bob does a Glenn Ross thing, okay, and and I swear a lot of people must not have seen Glenn Ross, because I feel like I was the only one busting up laughing throughout this part with where he's doing this Glenn Ross scene reenactment, where in which basically in the original, Alec Baldwin comes out and makes this whole speech to these guys who were selling real estate. And it's funny because SNL actually did a parody on it as well with Alec Baldwin, but it was hilarious. It was great. And like I said, I swear I'm the only one in the theater who realized it, because throughout this whole scene I was just sitting there busting up laughing. And again, there's just other, other funny callbacks to films as well. And altogether, it was a good time. It was a good time. Now, is everybody gonna like Jay and Silent Bob Reboot? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not even a lot of his own fans. A lot of his fans. A lot of people are probably gonna say he's done, he's over with, he's burnt out, and all these kinds of things. But me, I think it's probably just a lot of it is the progression of the filmmaker, of Kevin Smith himself, the director, the writer, the producer, doing this. I think a lot of it is his progression as a man, as a father, and as a filmmaker. So and that's not a bad thing. The other thing is you got to realize that these days Hollywood it's a totally different game. You know what I mean? Like, where budgets were you probably used to be higher, he probably used to have a bigger draw and things like that, and we can see with the change of the social media landscape that it's really kind of changing and affecting the film industry these days as well. It really is, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing. I think a lot of the work that Kevin Smith does nowadays can be done with a lower budget. However, these days, most everything is shot digitally, which those digital cameras and everything cost a lot more money than they used to. So that brings up the production value of something as opposed to film. Now, however, it's even said, even Rob Zombie even said that in some bonus features on the Three from Hell movie, is it costs a lot of money to shoot a movie with film now. So, I mean, I think these days, like a filmmaker, unless you've got a really big studio behind you and really big budgets, you're not looking. You're looking to save money at every turn you can. And I think here they did a really good job balancing the budget and everything. Now, this movie isn't going to win any awards. Anybody who's ever watched a Kevin Smith movie knows that yeah, most of his movies probably aren't going to win any awards. But again, it was a really great film. One I think you guys will definitely want to check out if you are a fan of Kevin Smith and the Jay and Silent Bob characters. So let me go ahead and get here into the live chats. I'm sorry I've kind of been ignoring you all here, just kind of been going on about this movie. Again, it was a good movie. Is it going to be for everybody? Certainly not. But me being a fan of Kevin Smith and his movies and these characters all together, I thought it was really good. It made a bunch of funny plays on kind of what's going on in our world today. Very funny stuff. But let's go ahead and get in here and see. We got Snow Dub Music and Entertainment. Jenner, check. Woo! What's up, Snowdub? How you doing, man? And if you guys haven't already, go check out Snowdub's channel. Snowdub, please feel free to drop your link to your channel there in the description or in here in the chats if you're still here. Go check out Snowdub Music and Entertainment, because I can guarantee you guys tomorrow's Saturday, and every Saturday, usually about 8 p.m. Here on the West Coast, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 9 p.m. depending on when they do it. They do the Ribbit and Bigot show with him and Kermit the Log. Absolutely hilarious show. I laugh every time because them dudes like to be funny and just have a good time. I wouldn't take anything they say on that show seriously. Well, I mean, I take it about as seriously as one should, because it's just fun. Couple dudes that love having fun. Coffee Breath, thank you so much for being here. God, I seen you in a couple other chats earlier this week as well that was on, and I've got my Coffee Breath on too. Blasted or Stash It Comic Show says, I stopped in LA on the Friday before. I didn't go to the con. I did stop by Golden Apple Comics and Stan Lee's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's cool. I've never heard of Golden Apple Comics, and I haven't been to Stan Lee's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And like I said, I'm about an hour away from LA, so me and my family, we don't get down there often enough to go down to LA and hang out and just check stuff out. Maybe we need to do that one of these days. Instead of just, yeah, maybe so. Maybe I'll have to do that with my family one of these days. 19K Fox, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely appreciate you being here. He says absolutely behind every good absolutely behind every good man is a great woman, and that's absolutely true. And that's nothing to do with agendas or anything. I mean, women help prop us up. You know what I mean? They have our backs, and my wife is certainly no different. I remember a long time ago. You guys know, in case you guys don't know, I'm a cyclist. I ride bicycles. I do a lot of training riding my bicycle. I've went out there and done some racing, not like professional racing, but like actual racing, like organized racing, like legitimate racing. And I remember telling her one time, a long time ago, before I even did any of the racing and stuff, and really got super serious into the cycling. Was I told her, I told her, I was like, babe, I need you to have my back. I need your support in these things that I'm doing, because it's not easy, like sometimes, especially once the kids came along, it's not easy to do what I do, to live the life that I live, to go out there doing all this training, doing all this writing, being here for the kids, being here for you, and now running my business and all this stuff. I asked her a long time ago. And, because I'd made mention of the things a couple of times before, but one time I sat down and just kind of had this more serious conversation with her, and it was just because of something I read in Bicycling Magazine where somebody was talking about that, and I'm like, man, that's absolutely true. If you have a wife or boyfriend or husband or whatever your lifestyle is, I don't care about that, for one. Two, you need somebody supportive, somebody to have your back out there through thick and thin, through sickness and in health and all that stuff, just like you were married. Like, even, if you're married or not married, your significant other needs to be somebody to have your back. Because again, they do help prop us up and help push us to bigger and better things. But that also means that you need to be there for them and support them. Just like my wife, she was, towards last year, she was going to school. She was going to school, not full time. She was going to school part time, and that kind of affected things here at the house with me, with my business, taking care of the kids while she was going to school and working a full time job at the same time. And then at the beginning of the year, she finally got her new job, and that really really hurt my business, because I had to be here more for the kids. I couldn't be out there working as much. And so, as much as she's ever had, always had my back, I had hers at the beginning of the year. And believe me, it wasn't easy. My business was highly affected. The first handful of months at the beginning of this year, she was, I wasn't even, I didn't get out to work as much as I should or could have. And then in March, I was in a car collision. A lady ran a stop sign and totaled my work van. So it's been a very rough year here at my house. It's been a very rough year. But through all of this, I was supportive of my wife, and she's been supportive of me. And it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy for either one of us. For either one of us. And this year hasn't been the kind of year that I would like it to have been. But it is what it is. I'm a survivor. I got through it. You know what I mean? I didn't get frustrated and throw my hands in the air and say, "Oh, hell with it." I just guess, that's not how you handle things in life. That's not how you should be with your partner, with your loved ones, or anything like that. Never give up. You should never just give up and throw in the towel, because I'm telling you, this year, the year that I've had would have a whole lot of people hurting, probably crying, probably emotional. You ever see Robert Storms? You see what happened to him? He had a bunch of car things that happened to him. There was an accident. He was on YouTube crying about it and asking people for money for it. And you won't see me do that. You might see me ask for money here on the channel, as far as, maybe giving some shouts out to my awesome Patreon supporters and things like that. But these aren't donations that I'm begging for and asking for, because I need them to get me out of a life crisis or life situation, because my car broke down, because my father's been a mechanic for 30 plus years and he talked me into buying a piece of shit car. You won't see that here. I just, you won't see that here. What I do ask is, if you like the channel, you like my content here, and you want to support the channel and the content here, I put a lot of work in this channel. Any content creators out there on YouTube, chances are, if they care somewhat, you'll know. You know the ones out there, your favorite content creators. If they're putting a lot of work into their channels and things like that. I certainly have been, and I appreciate it. And all of these people that you see here, their names here on the bottom, have been awesome Patreon supporters and have been helping support the content here. People like Tara, Russell, Carrie, Drunk 3PO, Tracy, Michelle, Marty McFly, and Joseph. These people have all willingly decided to be a Patreon supporter and donate as little as $1. here to the channel. And I know I've even had a couple of direct donations sent in. One of those direct donations sent in by Alpha Proto. Again, I appreciate people, anybody who wants to toss a couple dollars my way, because it's not easy. And the money that these people are donating is going to go towards helping up the production here on the channel. Like I've only a few more dollars away. Gonna get a bigger green screen here to have in the background, so I can do some more, hopefully, creative things with some of my videos here on the channel. And then after that, I need to get some better lighting. As you can see, like right now, I look really well lit, but behind me is pretty dark. Just things like that, just little things like that. And I do greatly appreciate anybody and all of these people who have chosen to be Patreon supporters and support the channel in that way. I do greatly appreciate it. There are links down in the description if you want to send $1 or $2, become a monthly Patreon supporter, however you want to do it. I greatly appreciate it, and I appreciate you all being there. And just the same as my wife, you guys help support me as well here on the channel. I do greatly appreciate that. Coffee Breath says Danzig has to be like 1,000. Man, he getting old. He getting pretty old. I'm thinking he's in his 60s, but I mean, I'd say for being in his 60s, he still looked pretty good. He still looked pretty good. And yeah, it was pretty crazy because I remember, like, I was walking up to him, I walked by him, kind of brushed shoulders with him, and I was like, holy shit, that's fucking Glenn Danzig. I was like, oh, like that was cool. And I also didn't want to flip out because I'm not really like a person who gets starstruck or anything like that. I've met plenty of musicians and actors and things like that out there in the world, but like I was kind of like, oh, dude, like Glenn Danzig. I'm just like, just keep it cool. Just keep it cool. The ones I was kind of starstruck by was the Soska sisters, and they were so freaking cool and warm and inviting. They were so nice. Like I said, it was the highlight probably of my week, especially that day when Jen Soska actually knew who I was. She knew my name. She knew my channel name and all that stuff. She walked up. She's like, "Oh, hey, Second Street Marvel, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, and I'm pretty sure she said my name, Trinity, too. And I was like, "Oh!" Like inside, I was screaming, man. I was fanboying out. I was flipping out, and I'm just like, "Dang, man!" And it just goes to show something. Just like Kevin Smith, for example, and in the journey he's had as a creator and director and things like that, is it's just great, and I think a lot of people take it for granted, and that's why like I said, Kevin Smith is the kind of guy he is. Like I am the kind of guy I am. Is Kevin Smith's a guy who's in the industry, and he knows he's going to have to, shake hands, talk to people, bump shoulders with people, and just be in the same space with all these other creators, people in Hollywood, people, other filmmakers like himself, other actors and things like that, other creatives out there in the world, and he don't want to burn those bridges. Whether he wants to have those bridges or not, he's not going to burn them. And I'm the same way, like I'm not out here to do that. I'm not here to tear people down in the first place. But also the one thing I value is those connections. There's connections that we find and meet with people. You never know who you're going to come across who knows who you are, who knows what you do, who knows your reputation and things like that. So I always try to keep these things in mind. And certainly meeting the Soska sisters was a true testament to that. I was like, dang, like, they actually knew me, knew my name and stuff. Like, they remembered me. Like, these ladies are hardworking ladies. They go out and they meet a lot. They meet thousands of fans, thousands of other of actors, producers, movie directors, all these different things, studio heads, all this different stuff. They probably met thousands of these people, and they remembered me. You know what I mean? Like, that feels good. It also keeps me on my toes too, knowing that, like, as long as I'm never like just like some outright turd out there, hopefully I can leave that impression on somebody else, and maybe I'll run into somebody else and be like, oh, hey, you're so and so, and because that feels good, and something I think a lot of people aren't mindful of when they are out there, in their spaces on social media, whether it's here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, is being mindful of the people that were around and things like that. I got to tell you, that felt really good, just to kind of be recognized by like that to me, who are some really great, big, huge celebrities, and they're indie horror film directors. They're not like the hugest people, but like I said, the sheer amount of people that they meet and see on a regular basis and things like that was definitely. It definitely felt good. Like I said, I was happy. I was a little starstruck too. And like I said, that's something that, all you guys should be mindful of, throughout your lives. And because I certainly know we've probably seen plenty of those creators here on YouTube and, all these other spaces. We know they're not so mindful about stuff. And they'll tell you, they're the same kind of people who tell you, I don't give a, I don't give a damn about that shit. Who gives a fudge? You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm trying to keep it PG-13 here. We are on the morning movie chat. We're not here on the Trailer Park Live. That's tonight, folks, at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you're there for that. It's going to be good. So yeah, we see there's a lot of people out there. They'll play it cool. They'll, like, they're cool. They're edgy. Like, I don't care. Shoot. I'll talk trash about Kevin Smith when I meet him in person. Yeah, whatever, man. F him. Come on, bro. Come on. Ego's getting a little bit big on you there, isn't it, pal? But that's the one thing, like I said, being mindful of those things, because you got to make those connections. And I am truly grateful for being able to make that impression on people, make those connections with people, because whoever knows when that might do you some good in a public space or anything like that later in life. That's why you should always try to be humble as you can. Try to remember where you came from. Remember your roots. Remember you're just human, just like everybody else is out there. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to come across some, actor or producer or director or some other Hollywood exec or anything like that, musician or anything that's not a turd. There's certainly those out there either, those too, and people that don't care, people that aren't going to remember you or anything like that. That's on each individual, and you'll remember that as well. You probably met those people. Like, I met Billy Milano from SOD. He's kind of an arrogant prick, but he wasn't such an arrogant prick that I'm just like, F that guy. You know what I mean? F that guy. He wasn't that bad, but he was kind of an arrogant prick, and that's okay. I mean, I'm sure, when it comes to some of these things, some of these people probably have people like completely flip out and acting like completely crazy, fan crazy and stuff. So I get it to some point as well. But like I said, there's a lot of people out there in the space, even in spaces that I occupy as well, that they're just not humble and they don't care and they just trying to play it cool. And I know they're doing it for clicks or whatnot to get people's attention. Things just sit there and be cool, like, yeah, I met so and so, didn't care, big deal. Like, all right, pal, you're cool, I got you. Blasted or Stash It comic show. Holy crap, Wikipedia said Danzig is only 5'3". 5'3", I don't know. He might be, I think he's a little taller than that. Because I'm 5'8", and I don't know. You know what? He might be. Because he wasn't that tall. He wasn't very big. But I remember seeing in the pictures, you see him, like, he looks bigger. He looks buff. But again, like I said, he's getting older. So, he's probably not hitting the gym as much. And, we get older, we kind of get affected by our age. But he still looked pretty good. He still looked pretty good for his age and everything. Coffee Breath says, it sucks he doesn't own the rights to Dogma. I love that movie. He don't own the rights to that one. Really? That's odd. Coffee Breath, that's why he looks so buff. Short guys look jacked. Easy. Yeah, and that's true, too. That's true. Yeah, I completely 100% agree with you there too. Because I mean, they're smaller, so they look bigger, and chances are they don't have like long reaches, long arms, long legs, and things like that. So a little bit of muscle makes them look bigger altogether. Like think of a Hugh Jackman and how tall and kind of lanky he is compared to maybe somebody like me. For him to put on all that muscle, for him to look jacked, that takes a lot and a lot of dedication. And we know that Hugh Jackman, when he was playing Wolverine, he was into it. I mean, he was dedicated to that stuff. I mean, what he did was not easy. Even the stuff when he was doing like what was it they called? It wasn't even a water fast. It was just like a dry fast or something like that, where he went like 24 hours without fluids or anything when they were doing some of the shots and everything. Like, that's got to be rough. No water for 24 hours. Whew. And they said you got to do that kind of stuff under basically the watchful eye of a doctor and stuff like that, because that's not good for you. But it's why he got all sucked up and ripped up looking too. So yeah. Blasted or Sasha says, now I know why they wanted him to play Wolverine in the movie. Right, yeah, and because he looks the role. I mean, he'd be like the height, and back in the day, he used to have the size. Because I remember I used to see pictures of Glenn Danzig, and that dude looked like, he looks huge. He looked huge, like the kind of dude you wouldn't want to mess with. And just because he's a small dude doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to mess with him neither. Because I'm sure we all know that guy who's out there. We all know the small guy. We all know the short guy. These dudes got to fight everybody. You know what I mean? It's funny, God. What was that? I think that was even they made mention of that in this Jay and Silent Bob reboot, some of the behind the scenes stuff, where like a small dog doesn't know that he's small. He don't give a shit. He's just out there. He don't know that he's small. He's out there like, you get these little chihuahuas compared to like a Saint Bernard or something. They don't care. They're unaware that they're that small. And that's the same thing. We all know, like, all small dudes, all little short dudes, they're all scrappy and they all talk trash. And that's not just a stereotype. I can't say that I've come across a dude that is a small guy like that, that's shorter than your average man, I guess you could say. You're shorter than your average man. That's not like that. I think every dude I've met that is like a short, small, like shorter than average person, and I'm not saying like where they're like small people or little people or midgets or whatever is politically correct now. I can't say that I've ever met one that's just like calm, cool, just like, yeah, this is easy and laid back. No, they're all like, and I don't mean like high strung, but they're like always like talking trash and always just ready to scrap and stuff, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's why Wolverine is the way he is too. Um, Coffee Breath says he supports comic culture for sure. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I never eat chocolate covered pretzels because of Kevin Smith. Well, you know what? If you follow the links down in the description here, there are some links to where you can go find the Peanut Peddler. You can trust his chocolate covered pretzels. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Um, yeah, that's great. Um, Let's see. 19K Fox says Kevin's worst is still better than most. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And that which brings up something I'll probably talk more about that tonight. With like lately, we've seen Martin Scorsese has been pretty outspoken in the media about these superhero movies and everything. Which, guys, you know, and I hear people out there trash talking Martin Scorsese too. Like, guys, you can't trash talk Martin Scorsese. The dude's a brilliant film director, just creator. He's one of the best there is. He is absolutely one of the best there is. Now, is he off base with some of the things he's saying? Oh, yeah, certainly. He certainly is. But I've seen people actually go out there and discredit him and his movies and say he's a garbage filmmaker, his movies are boring and all this and stuff. Now, that's an opinion, okay? His movies aren't for everybody, admittedly. My wife, she don't want to watch a Casino or anything like that. She's not into that crap. But it's undeniable he's a great filmmaker. Now, is he off base with some of the things he's saying? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And his worst film is probably way better than most. You know what I mean? Same thing with like Kevin Smith, like 19K Fox is saying. Is Kevin Smith's worst is still better than most. Absolutely. Mads Mama Bear, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We got to get together again, Mads. We got to get together again one of these days. Let's see. Blaster Stash Comic Show says Joseph Reitman. Joseph Reitman. Oh, is that the guy I'm thinking of? Okay, it says they are divorced. Okay, yeah, that could easily be his name, Joseph Reitman. Yeah, he was the A&D in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and then he was again in this movie. And I know I seen him at Comic-Con last weekend as well. I just didn't really think that it was him. I was like, it's probably not. And I didn't really get a good look at his face because it was from a distance. I knew I should just went up and said something. Aggressively Relaxing says Kevin and. Thank you for being here. Aggressively Relaxing says Kevin gives negative opinions all the time, but it seems tame in a world where not liking a movie means you have to make a YouTube channel and call for call for the closing of theme parks associated with it. Yes, Aggressively Relaxing. I think me and you are on the same page when it comes to that kinds of stuff. Now, however, there are people, like, I know you're not a fan of Young Rippa. I'm a huge fan of Young Rippa. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right when it comes to that. That's the basis of a lot of people's channels, a lot of their content and stuff like that is just hating things just to hate it. And to me, that's absolutely ridiculous. And Aggressively, once again, dude, absolutely love you, man. Love the content. Love your takes on stuff as well, man. One of these days, because I believe you're in New York. One of these days, I'm going to make it out there, out east. One of these days, we're going to cross paths. And I'm going to give you a big old hug, dude. I don't even know what you look like. I'm probably just going to walk up to just some random stranger and give them a huge hug and say, I love you, Aggressively Relaxing. I love you. And embrace them with some warmth. And they're probably going to be like, who the hell is this crazy guy? What the hell? Security! Aggressively, I love you, man. Great stuff. If you guys haven't, and you know, definitely go and check out all these people here on the that are here in the chat. Go check out each other's channels. Some of the people here have channels, some of them don't, but go check them out, man. Most of the people who show up here for my live streams and even in my chats and in the comments on my videos, most of y'all people are really great people, man. Y'all just make me laugh and good. Just I don't know. I guess we attract what we are and stuff like that. You know, all those cliche things. And you guys are absolutely great, man. Absolutely great. Coffee Breath says he also cries when he watches a good Star Wars clip. Yeah, dude. And that's the thing is I'm the same way, man. Like I get sentimental about shit and cry about stuff all the time, man. And I'm like I'm sitting there like I'm like man, I must be getting old. Like yeah, I'm telling you guys. I already admitted the other day I used to cry during Undercover Boss. Okay, I did. I did. I'm willing to admit that. He says that's why I love him. Coffee Breath says such a good movie. Coffee is for closers. Yes. That was such a great scene. And like I said, when we were there watching that movie, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, he was going through doing this whole spiel, and I'm like, I don't think anybody else knows this movie because I'm the only one laughing. I was like chuckling in the theater, and like nobody else is even laughing. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Maybe nobody else has seen Glenn Ross. Maybe they don't like it, or maybe they just don't remember it. But oh man, I was dying, absolutely dying. Russell Wells Benjamin the Fourth, thank you so much for being here. He says, "Morning, brother. Just want to take a moment to shout out E-Man's movie reviews. He shared on his channel an amazing experience that he was able to bless his daughter with. I'm gonna have to check that out because I like E-Man's movie reviews too. And you know what's funny is maybe my notifications got turned off for him, but a lot of his videos haven't been coming across my subscription feed lately. And I know I'm definitely subscribed to him because I like E-Man and his movie reviews and stuff. So I'm gonna have to go check that out. And he's a good reviewer, good at what he does. He's a well-spoken individual as well, and you can tell he's a very down-to-earth guy. I'm gonna have to go check that out, yeah. Because E-Man's a great dude. He's one of those dudes I'd like to. One of these days, maybe I'll bump into him too, and would like to meet. He's another creator that I definitely like his stuff. I'm gonna have to go check him out, man, because I know I'm subscribed to him. I used to be like on all his videos, commenting and stuff, and I just haven't seen him coming across lately on my news subscription feed. Carrie Neves, thank you so much for being here. Carrie Neves, as well as Russell Benjamin, are some of my awesome Patreon supporters. Carrie Neves says Tom Holland was sweet to play along. E-Man is a great dad. Oh man, he met Tom Holland. Ah, dude. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to go see that. I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, and Tom Holland seems like he's a pretty as down to earth as you could get, being in the position that he's in, and he's a young guy too. So I'm glad to see that he's enjoying everything that he has for what it's worth. Carrie Nee says, "Oh, I have a ranch. Cool. You're a Patreon supporter, Carrie. You're a Patreon supporter, so you get one." Um, Russell Wells Benjamin says, "For real, he went above and beyond for her. That's a great father right there. That's awesome. I'm going to have to check that out. Wookie Lives Matter, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a good day as well. Um, Coffee Breath says, life is better when shared. That's absolutely 100% true. It absolutely is. Stu Jersey X, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you so much for being here. Glad you could make it today. Wookie Lives Matter says, will galactic credits do? They will. Galactic credits work here. We accept all methods of payment. The only ever, Wookie Lives Matter says, the only time I've ever felt like I was going to fanboy on someone, I was at AFA and met Tara Patrick. Tara Patrick. I'm thinking Danica Patrick. I know I'm thinking Danica Patrick. Let me think. Who is... Because that name sounds very familiar. Tara Patrick is an actress and producer known for Big Trouble and for Big Trouble and The Bloodsucker and Howard Stern on Demand. Okay. So she's an actress. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. And that's weird too because like I said, some of the people, like I've met big people, like I ran across Keanu Reeves in Hollywood one time, and I didn't even flip out or go crazy or anything. And dude, I freaking love Keanu Reeves. I seen him, and I was just like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And just kind of pointed, gave a wave, and shook my head at him, and dude, and he pointed. He was like, "Hey." He gave me a wave, an emphatic wave, and said, "What's up?" And I was like, "Yeah," you know what I mean? And I don't really ever fanboy out that much, but like I'm telling you, occasionally I do. And I feel silly. I'm like, and it's so crazy because sometimes too it happens with the smallest people. Like when back in the day, before I was married or really had a girlfriend or anything. I mean, I had girlfriends, but like at the time I didn't. I was still a young single man. When I was working at the Walmart down in Stevenson's Ranch, California. There's a place where a lot of we ran into a lot of celebrities there. Tyler Mane, who played Sabretooth in the first couple X-Men films, like met him there. But like I met some porn stars there, and I was like, oh, like I was starstruck. I'm like, dude, these are fucking porn stars, man. They're not like anybody big, you know what I mean? But like it was one of those kind of things too. I was like, oh man, like whoa, what? And I kind of fanboyed out a little bit there too. And I'm just like, these are freaking porn stars. It's weird because it happens with some people and it doesn't happen with other people. And like I said, I always try to keep it, try to reel it in and everything. But like, yeah, it happens. It happens at times. And I could imagine the meeting Tara Patrick was obviously somebody you like and respect and kind of felt the same way. Um, Russell Wells Benjamin says the Lonely Bastard. Yeah, man. Oh, man. I heard you guys had a little tiff the other day, man. That's funny, man. Like to each his own, man. To each his own. We're not all for everybody. Not all creators are for everybody, and we won't all get along in the world. Yeah, that's what he says. Lonely Banter. That's funny. And Lonely Banter is one of my favorite channels, But hey, man, I get it. I get it. Like I said, not everybody is everybody's cup of tea, man. Mads Mama Bear says, I'm happy to hear that they recognize you. You promote the heck out of the Soska sisters. I do what I can just because, they're great. They're good filmmakers, and they wrote one of my favorite comic books ever. I now had a chance to meet them, and they were so freaking cool and so sweet and just so supportive. You know what I mean? Like they were really awesome. And I'm like, no, like I'm here to support you, and you're making me feel good, man. Like I don't know, man. They were really awesome. I'm telling you, I love the Soxka sisters. They're great. They're cool people. If you go follow them on Instagram or even Twitter, you'll see that they're very down to earth people, and they're very active too. They're very active in like just people in their lifestyles. I mean, they're very supportive of the LGBT community. They're very huge in promoting like things against God, who is it? How do I all of a sudden forget this turd's name again? The guy who just died in prison with all with all the child trafficking and everything. They're very big and active in bringing awareness to those kinds of things. So I mean, they're very awesome people. They're doing great work. So I couldn't not be supportive of them and what they're doing because they're out there trying to do make positive change in the world, and not just in the world, but also in Hollywood. They're kind of outspoken a lot against a lot of those kinds of things, and that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I don't see why anybody wouldn't support those two ladies. Pope Cerebrus the First says Kevin Smith and Jay are killer to me. When people slag Kevin Smith, I can't help but counter with Red State or Jersey Girl if it's a chick. Killer films outside the View Askew universe. Yeah, you know what? Red State, God, sometimes Red State. I'm pretty sure I've seen Red State and Tusk both, and if I remember right, both of those films are really good. I can't remember if Tusk is. I'm pretty sure Tusk is the one I'm thinking of. But Red State was really good. Tusk was good. Jersey Girl is probably okay. Jersey Girl isn't like the best movie out there in the world, but it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's a really well written flick. It's heart touching. I mean, it might tug at your feels a little bit. It was a good movie. Yeah, and I mean, this is definitely like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't see how people can just go out. Like I get it because everybody's got to be cool and edgy, and not like Kevin Smith because that's cool. It's cool if I call people shills because I'm cool. You know what I mean? Get out of here with all that. Get out of here with all that. I get tired of that stuff, dude. People out there who want to slam some of these filmmakers. Like I said, there's people out there slamming Kevin Smith, people out there slamming Martin Scorsese and stuff like that. And it just makes me think, bro, you don't know anything about movies or filmmaking or anything. Like you just like your opinion is like you're entitled to have your opinion for one, but your opinion don't mean much if you're saying some of these kinds of things. Like you obviously don't know what the hell you're talking about, and I can't take you seriously. I just can't. I just can't. Because of some of the things that come out of your mouth. It's absolutely ridiculous. VB Studios says, hi, hey, remember me? Yeah, of course, I remember you, VB Studios. How you doing, man? How you been doing? Coffee Breath says, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's very true. That's very true. It very much is. Coffee Breath says, "Holy crap, SOD." Yeah, SOD. I actually got to meet all of the guys from SOD. I got pictures with Dan Lilliker. Got can't remember. Did we get a picture with Scott Ian as well? I definitely got his signature. Met Billy Milano. I met Charlie Benante. Which I mean, that one right there is like, oh, Charlie Benante. Charlie Benante is a freaking god, man. Like Scott. Don't get me wrong. Scott Ian is badass. Billy Milano is badass. You know, and Scott above him even. But like Charlie Benante, dude, that dude's like, he's like a musical genius out there, man. Like he does like, I talked about this the other day about drummers. Drummers, you know, in a band, they're usually the odd man out. They're usually some of the weirdest guys, but they're usually the most creative guys in a band, and they're usually the ones who end up writing most of a lot of a band's music and stuff like that. And a lot of that is because they get the rhythm, they get the tempo, they understand everything else. Just they seem to be the odd man out a lot of times, even though bass players seem to be the butt of all the jokes. But yeah, got to meet all them dudes. Good stuff. Pope Cerebrus the first says Billy Milano has done so much in the industry to act like a dick. Not right. Yeah. He has too. He's been around for a long time. I mean, you gotta think SOD's been around since like early 80s, mid 80s, like forever, man. They've been around for a long time. And yeah, but tonight, and you know, it's funny because everybody that's ever met him says the same thing, like, man, he's kind of a dick. You know, he's kind of, you know, and he is. But again, I mean, he's also one of those kind of things. It's almost like an underground kind of cult following. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing. Billy Milano is one of those kind of characters as well. So he is what he is, man. Wookie Lives Matter says, I met the Butthole Surfers when I was 15 in the late 80s. Those guys were fucking dicks. Fuck those guys. That's funny. I've obviously heard of the Butthole Surfers and heard some of their music, but I'm not enough to like know who those guys are, their personalities, but I can imagine. Mad's Mama Bear says, I've known a few Canadian chefs that had huge egos. Yeah, and that's a different thing. Like chefs and stuff like that, you see a lot of that. You know, like not even just like the Gordon Ramsays out there, but it seems like you see more of that out of these like foodie type of people. And I don't know, I guess people develop their own egos and they also develop their own personalities too, and some of it's fake, you know, some of it's fake as well. But that's crazy. Coffee Breath says Harvey Weinstein, Miramax owns Dogma. Okay, so he's still on. Man, that's crazy. He's gonna be clutching. He's gonna be clutching those pros for a little while. It's probably gonna be his only income for a little while. Because yeah, that dude's a turd. Pope Cerebrus the first says, because Disney did not want to touch or release Dogma, so Harvey Weinstein bought the rights and distributed it through Castle Rock. Okay. Yeah, and you know, again, Harvey Weinstein, he's a turd. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, with Disney, I mean, obviously they've got plenty of other things that like Buena Vista Pictures and all these kinds of things where they could take some of these things under the banner. They got Fox now and all that stuff. I don't know why Disney wants to be so scared and act like they don't want to produce like R-rated content or anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, is anybody going to fault Disney for making something R-rated? I don't think so. This is the real world we're living in, folks. You can keep most of your content based around PG, PG-13 and stuff like that, G-rated and all that stuff. It's okay to dip your toes into R-rated too. Nobody's going to think worse of you for it. Your investors might actually be happy. If you ask me, you know, but Aggressively Relaxing says, I got really starstruck by Nichelle Nichols. She was so nice, and all I could say was, I haven't eaten in 3 months, so I could wear this uniform in a picture with you. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm going to look that up. But that's really funny. And I'm guessing that quote you have there is either what you just said or maybe something relating to her? I don't know. But that's pretty funny. Wookie Lives Matter says, Honey Badger, don't give a fuck. Yeah. Oh, man, I haven't watched that video in a while, man. The Honey Badger, don't give a fuck. That's funny. Matt's Mama Bear says, my ex is 5'4" and has small dog syndrome. That's funny. Napoleon complex. There you go. Oh, man, that's funny. Wookie Lives Matter says, really? Jersey Girl sucked. Now, again, like me, I don't think it completely sucked. I mean, I think it's just one of those different movies out of the View Askew universe that, I mean, is it the best movie? No. By no means is it the best movie, but I mean, did it suck? I wouldn't say it sucked, but I mean, for me, I don't think a whole lot of things suck. I mean, I just, you know, like I said, there's things to it that you can extract even out of things that are bad. Even movies like X-Men Dark Phoenix, or I'm sorry, Dark Phoenix, has good things in it. It's just overshadowed by so much bad. And I get why somebody wouldn't like Jersey Girl. I do. I totally get it. So hey, again, that's the lovely thing about movies, and their subjectivity, and why they are art. They are a high form of art. Where some people will argue that, and I will tell them, when somebody argues with me that films aren't art, I'll just argue with them and say, the more you argue against that, the more it becomes true, ultimately, because that's what people debate and argue about, is art. So yeah, I mean, there's that. Pope Cerebrus says, Pope Cerebrus the First says, I told girls about Jersey Girl. George Carlin was a crappy actor, brilliant comedian. Right? Yeah, yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah, he wasn't a great actor, but he was a brilliant comedian. And again, the things that George Carlin was in and he was good in is because the filmmaker played to his strengths. They know what he could and couldn't do. The same thing with Gal Gadot. You know what I mean? Gal Gadot, absolutely beautiful woman. As an actress, she's not great. She's okay. I won't even say she's good. She's getting better. It was funny because just yesterday on the John Campea show, I believe it was yesterday, he actually even made mention about somebody else, because it was something I was thinking the exact same thing about, was Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum, like, he started off in movies and he's like, this dude sucks. He's not even a good actor. But he's gone through, he's paid his dues, he went through and increased his acting, his repertoire, and he's gotten better as an actor. And I hope the same thing can happen for Gal Gadot, because, like I said, she's a beautiful woman, she's talented, but that doesn't get you everywhere. She needs to grow in her acting chops. She needs to get better. John Cena is another one of these people. He's not a great actor, but he's growing. He's putting in efforts and doing things to try to grow. And that's good. I mean, that's what you got to do. Look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's still not the greatest actor, but he's a personality and he's kind of grown. He's gotten better. He's been in movies where they really played to his strengths. And through that, he's gotten offered bigger roles, different parts, and he's kind of grown in his chops. And I hope the same thing for people like that. And like you said, yeah, perfect example. Carlin was a crappy actor, brilliant comedian. Absolutely, absolutely, I'll agree with that. Russell Wells Benjamin says, Martin's works are incredible. I just find it hypocritical for him to slight the MCU when they paved the way for the digital de-aging tech that he's utilizing for his new film, The Irishman. While that's absolutely true, I will say that's absolutely true. I can't agree, because I heard them saying that in I think in the John Campea show as well, even like Den of Nerds, where they were saying that as well, but they paved the way for it, but I don't think he's using any of their technology, actually, you know what I mean? Because if that was the case, like, DC would use it too, and DC's getting quite good at it too. So, I mean, they've paved the way for it, but again, he's not using all of their technology or their people behind the camera to do that. So I do agree, though. I do agree, and also to the fact that Martin Scorsese paved the way for some of these people to even be able to make movies. He inspired some of these people, and not only that, I've said this numerous times about Avengers: Infinity War with the Russo brothers. That movie is so great, and there are actual serious filmmakers like a Martin Scorsese. And he's not one of these people I'm talking about, but there are serious filmmakers out there like a Martin Scorsese that haven't made as great of a film as the Russo brothers did with Avengers: Infinity War. The movie has drama, it has comedy, it has depth, it's got great cinematics, it's got a great soundtrack, it's got a great score. Well, I guess not soundtrack, it don't really have much music in it, but it's got a great score. Everything about that movie, it hits all the marks of a good film. It checks all the boxes. The only thing is, it's not going to win any most any awards or anything for that for. It's because it's a superhero movie. It's a comic book movie. But there are serious filmmakers out there who haven't made that great of a film ever in their careers. Some of them not even close. And that's not to say that they're bad filmmakers or that they made bad films. It's just that the Russo brothers made that good of a damn movie. So, yeah, while Martin's work is incredible, I agree with you too, that's no reason for him to go out there and be slamming these films or anything like that. He's entitled to his opinions, and I'm not going to beat him up for that. But, also like they said on the Campea show too, he's out there criticizing them, having even admitted not seen them all or anything like that. So you want to criticize something, go out there and see it too. I'll be the first to tell you guys that too. I'm willing to hear all the criticisms, but you got to watch the stuff. Otherwise, I've got to kind of discount your opinion of it if you haven't. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the corner that Martin Scorsese is painted himself into. Now, again, I can completely respect the guy, and he is a brilliant filmmaker. And if it wasn't for Martin Scorsese, we probably wouldn't have some of the superhero films that we have made. Probably not a whole lot of them. Probably not any of them. Probably not any of them. So that's why I think, just like James Gunn kind of echoed, and I'm not a big fan of James Gunn, is that it's kind of a travesty that he's out there slamming some of these properties and these films and things like that for reasons like that. Because, again, I mean, it's just sad that he's out there doing that. And something that maybe I'll talk about a lot more about that tonight on the Trailer Park Live is, even like Josh at the Den of Nerds was saying, agreeing with John Campea in the fact that for the first time in Martin Scorsese, he's probably doing this because for the first time in his career, he's being told no. And I have something to disagree with on that. It's not that he's being told no. Studios aren't just telling Martin Scorsese no to say no because they don't think this movie's going to make money or anything. It's just that this movie, The Irishman, has such a huge budget on it. Huge budget that you're not going to make that kind of money back. And that's one of the things John Campea talked about. But that's not the bigger thing here. The reason these studios are saying no to him isn't because of the budget necessarily, as much as it is the fact that it's a 3.5 hour movie. A 3.5 hour movie. I can guarantee you, I don't care how big of a film fan you are, a lot of people aren't going to go see that film at the movie theater and sit there for 3.5 hours without an intermission, at least guaranteed intermission, sit there in the movie theater for 3.5 hours to watch this movie. Let alone we could go into the theaters and how many, they'll have a limited number of showings because it is that long. Which is basically going to end up being, you got to have, they got time in between when the movie lets out and the new movie starts that they've got to get their people in there and clean the theater and all that kinds of stuff. They're going to get very limited showings. The studios aren't going to back that kind of movie. It was bad. It was hard enough for the Russo brothers to push Avengers Infinity War out there, and they pushed the envelope with that so that they could get Avengers Endgame out there with the runtime that it had. So overall, while that argument I hear, at the same time I say absolutely not, because the movie's just too long. They're not just saying no just because it's Martin Scorsese and the film's going to suck or anything like that. It's because that's a long damn film to put in the movie theater. That's why it's not going to make the money that it could or would or should. It's because it's a long damn movie and an expensive thing to go put in theaters nationwide. Same thing with Kevin Smith and his Jay and Silent Bob reboot. It's part of the reason they're not doing it as well neither, or like that neither. Doing the big distribution is because that's expensive. The marketing, the paying for it to be in the theaters that long, all these different things that go into playing into that. Absolutely. So that's why one thing I will disagree with, like Josh over at the Den of Nerds and even John Campea on, is it's not just about them telling him no. They're telling him no for a lot of reasons. Not just because it's not going to make the money back, because it is a huge budget, but it's a 3.5 hour film that they are almost guaranteed not to make their money back on. So, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of everything. Wookie Lives Matter says, Carlin was brilliant in Bill and Ted. He was, but again, I think that's just because they were playing to his strengths. I think they were playing to his strengths in that movie. Just the same as I said, but that's what they need to do. A great filmmaker will do that with somebody who's not a great actor loaded with the talent and the chops. They gotta play to their strengths. Wookie Lives Matter says, I've uploaded a bunch of garbage on my channel. Check it out. I'll go check that out, man. I'll go check it out, Wookie. Rufus was most excellent. Yes. Let's see, where else are we at here? It jumped on me again. Wookie Lives Matter says, Liv Tyler crying at the screens full of static and Armageddon gets me every time. I've got to fast forward past that when I watch it. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Mads Mama Bear says, I'm still trying to help out my half angel friend. Cheap plug for my video. All right. No problem. Wookie Lives Matter says, Pauly Shore was cool to meet. That would be pretty cool. I imagine he seems like the kind of guy who'd be cool to meet, but he also seems like he might be one of those people that's kind of a jerk too. I don't know. Kind of like Danny McBride. I always feel like Danny McBride is so good at what he does on screen. I almost kind of feel like he'd be a little bit that dickish if you met him in person. But maybe it's just because he's that convincing in his roles. Aggressively says, I was really hoping Trinity would say, credits no good here. I need something more real to Wookie. Right? That's funny. Trinity's no Toydarian. No, I'm not. Epstein, yes, Epstein. Man, why do I keep forgetting his name? It's because he got killed, and that stuff is slowly dying, and we can't let it. Epstein, yes. Stu Jersey X says, wait, people don't like Kevin Smith? Since when? He's cool. Man, for a while, man. A lot of people don't Man, I don't know. Because it's just so cool to hate on things these days and call people shills for no reason just because somebody likes something. You know what I mean? That's why, man. Yeah, and his YouTube channel is great too. And I like the things that he does, the Fat Man on Batman stuff that he does. Great shows, always fun. Coffee Breath says, if you know no drummers, I grew up with Bronze Sailor from Mastodon. Cool, good dude. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. Drunk 3PO, what's up, man? Another one of my great Patreon supporters. Kermit the Log, what's up, dude? Um, yeah, Mastodon, yeah, they're good. And I haven't listened to a whole lot of the music, but what I have heard I do like. Definitely good stuff. Drunk 3PO says, I'm at the gym and I have zero motivation. You know what the best motivation is? For me, every time I'm heading into the gym is before you go to the gym, go take a look at your fat ass in the mirror, and that'll get you motivated. That's what I always say. I look in the mirror, I'm like, ugh, man, look at this, man. I need to go out there and get buff. That's just for me, though. That's just for me. And I'm not saying that you're a fat ass or anything. I'm just saying that's how I look at it. I'm like, oh, man, I need to get my fat ass in shape. I need to get my fat ass in the gym, man. Oh, that's funny. Um, Let's see. Aggressively Relaxed. It says, everyone should do themselves a favor and go listen to Fat Man on Batman. Kevin Smith's podcast format has changed in the last 2 years, but the first 60 episodes are incredible. I like even the ones that he's done lately as well. They just don't do them as often anymore, it seems, because just he's been so busy with making these movies and stuff. Matt's Mama Bear says, unrelated question. If anyone sees Will Gentry, check if he's okay. All right. Yeah, I haven't seen him, but thought I saw him on Twitter yesterday. I could be wrong. Pope Cerebro says Brand Daler is a beast. I'm not sure who that is. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check it out. Tommy, what's up, man? Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, make sure you smash that like button or give it a dislike. It's all good. It's all good here on Second Street Marvel. Wookie Lives Matter says, I kind of wish The Rise of Skywalker was rated R so we could have gotten a full scene of Padawan butchery. Right. Oh, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, that would have been great. Tommy says, talked with yesterday, man. Oh, okay. Now it's called Fat Man Beyond. Mark Bernardine is a great co-host as well. Yes, yeah, Fat Man Okay, is that what they call it? Yeah, I know it used to be Fat Man on Batman, and yeah, very good stuff. Mads Mama Bear says Trinity Nichelle Nichols is the actress that played Uhura in Star Trek original series. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh man, yeah. Plus, I like who played her in these new movies as well. I love Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana's so hot. And yeah, it might not be PC to say, but hey, man, I've been touched by jungle fever as well, man. Hell, man, I love women. I don't care what color skin they have. I don't care what their nationality is, man. Women are women. I don't know. So yeah, there's that. Mads Mama Bear says same here. Tommy, now his Twitter page is not pulling up anything. Oh, okay. Coffee Breath says hell yeah. Search lethargy. It's hard to write with a little hand. Okay, I'll do that. It was Brand's first band. I'll do that. I'll check that out. Wookie Lives Matter says I'd watch Gal Gadot wash dishes for 2 hours. Yeah, like I said, certainly it's undeniable. She's very beautiful. She's very very beautiful. For sure. Let's see here. Aggressively says the current Fat Man Beyond podcast is great, but those early interviews on the channel were incredible. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check those out. I've listened to Hollywood Babylon back in the day. Okay, yeah, awesome. Mads Mama Bear says, is a puppet a requirement for being on your show, Kermit? No, I don't think so. Tracy Woody, how you doing this morning? Thank you so much for being here. Tracy is an other awesome Patreon supporter as well. Kermit the Log says, just gotta be cool with the hand up your ass. Right? Aggressively Relaxing says, there was the Kevin Conroy interview. He explains he went down to ground zero on 9/11 to help. People found out he was Batman, so they asked him to deliver inspirational speeches in the voice. That's pretty cool. Kermit the Log says, Danny McBride is one of my inspirations. Danny McBride is really great. Danny McBride is a good actor, and I have a feeling that just feel like he's probably kind of like that in real life, what he does in his movies, but I also kind of feel like he's probably just a really cool laid-back dude, too. I'd like to meet Danny McBride. He's one of those people, if I met Danny McBride, I'd probably be starstruck about, and he'd probably be a dick about. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, he'd probably be like, the fuck? He'd probably go Danny McBride on me. Um, Russell Wells Benjamin says Kenny Powers is my spirit animal. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Kenny Powers, man. You guys ever see the Foot Fist Way? The Foot Fist Way, man. That was a good one too. Because he's playing like have you guys follow American? That does what is it, Ameridote, the Master Ken on Instagram or Facebook or anything. I think he's even got a channel here on YouTube. Good stuff. Kermit the Log says, okay, DM me and see how next week will work for you. Oh, that's cool. You guys are gonna collaborate. Need to see that. Yeah, season 1 is comedy gold. Yeah, definitely. Um, Russell Wellsman said Kermit sliding into Matt's DMs. Right. Oh man, good stuff. All right, y'all. We've gone well over an hour here. I've got to get out and get to work. It's a Friday. Got a whole lot of work ahead of me today. But thank you all so much for being here again today. Like I said, guys, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I thought it was a great movie. Not his best work, but again, I thought it was good and entertaining. A lot of callbacks in it. Obviously, as you would expect out of a movie called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Just some very good stuff, making fun of a lot of things going on in the Hollywood landscape and how kind of people look at them and things like that. Very funny stuff. Put that pitchfork down. Pitchforks are for Klansmen. You call yourself a Klansman, you son of a bitch? I'm telling you, you guys got to go see this movie when it comes to a theater near you. Something that is definitely well worth watching and getting out there to see at the theater. Now, does it have the big Cinemax that you got to go, pay to see at the theater? Probably not, man. You're going to enjoy this movie just as much at home as you will on the big screen. Again, a great time. Thank you all so much for being here today. Don't forget, guys, make sure that you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I have uploaded new content. Because tonight, in case you guys don't know, I do the Trailer Park Live every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get notified whenever I get ready to go live for that. That will be at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. Because you guys are awesome. We rock over here. Thanks to you all. Have a very good day. Get out and support your local comic book shop. Lots of great comics came out this week. And we'll see you all later tonight in the next video. Later.